Hey guys, so like everyone right now that has any connection to the United States, just kind of wanted to make a video about what happened on Tuesday/Wednesday for me. As you know, I'm in Spain right now, so I'm gonna be running away from the Trumpocalypse, as some people have called it, until June. Of course, I'm gonna be in the U.S. for a couple weeks. I'm gonna be probably there the last few weeks that Obama is in power, not the last week. And then we're gonna, see what happens. As you know, if you know me or if you have me on Facebook, you know I've been nonstop talking about what happened and what we need to do, and what's going on and what's going to happen, and what we cannot allow to happen. I don't. I'm. This isn't my first time losing an election to a totalitarian, over the top, media centric, crazy man. I lived under Chavez's rule for 12 years of the only 12 years of my life. For the 20 years I've been on this earth, I've known my country to only have a totalitarian government, and I've watched people and how they react and how they act, and I think I've learned what we cannot do. And I know the United States has a better system in place to not allow that to happen. That said, the system that is in place right now to supposedly not let that happen is what currently let this happen. Because Hillary Clinton did win the popular vote in the United States. She did win more votes than Donald Trump. She still won only by 200,000 votes, which is nothing. Okay? Donald Trump got less votes than Romney or McCain. Just let that sink in. People did not go out to vote because people were not excited, and I understand that it shouldn't be the task of the politician to make you excited to vote, but if an orange weaved weird thing on his head man who has said countless disgusting, terrible, and terrifying things does not get you excited to not get him into office, I don't know what will. Yes, Hillary Clinton made mistakes, and I will highlight this to the end of life. There is no reason Team Kaine should have been her running mate. He is a bland politician that no one knew, that has no specific moving policy. The only thing she had going for him was that he was from Virginia, and that's a swing state. That is not how people look at politics anymore. It isn't. It just is not how politics are looked at anymore. She also chose to ignore every single red light that pointed her towards the left, that pointed her towards Bernie Sanders, and that pointed her towards saying and trying to do what Bernie Sanders did. I understand that she has different political views, and I respect that she stayed by her point of view, considering we do criticize her for flip-flopping. That said, I think she could have pushed and said, you know what, Bernie Sanders convinced me to do this, Bernie Sanders convinced me to do this other thing. Bernie Sanders told me, and I believe him, and I know you guys like him, I know you guys wanted him, and I'm gonna do everything in my power to help you have what he wanted. She also had the DNC on her side. This is largely the DNC's fault, both because of the emails by WikiLeaks and because they allowed her to win just because they thought she should win. And they didn't try, they didn't push, and they didn't think it was necessary to have any sort of campaign that was on message, that had a purpose other than let's elect Hillary Clinton. That is not why people want a president. Not even Obama ever ran on I am Obama, please elect me. Okay? And Obama has some of the highest ratings a president has ever had at the end of his term. Obama knew that he needed a message, and he got more votes his second time around than his first, because he moved his message and he moved people with his message. She did not have a message other than I am Hillary Clinton, you have to vote for me, you have to vote against Donald Trump. that is not a message. To this point, I don't know what she would have pushed for that was her dying passion. And that bothers me. She let this happen. That said, we let this happen as well. There is no reason a man like that should exist in 2016. Of course, he is a product of privilege. He is a product of growing up in a bubble, growing up in a place where you have no contact with the real world. He thinks he does. He thinks he's real. People think he's real, which I don't understand how they do. And then you look at what he does, how he lives, and you realize he's not a real human being. He's a caricature of a rich man. He's literally every person's idea of what rich people should live like, and that's not how rich people live at all, because they have better things to do with their money than buy stupid shit like he does, like a portrait of his face with money for his foundation. I cannot live apolitically. I made this post on Facebook. I cannot live a life where I ignore politics. It has to do with my status in the United States as a Latinx person. It has to do with my status in Venezuela as someone that's going against the regime. It has to do with the fact that the world runs on politics, and politics are personal. I don't care who you are. I don't care what you do. I don't care what you say. Politics are personal because they affect people's lives. You can say you have nothing against me, but then you vote to defund Planned Parenthood and you're going against me, because those are things that I will probably need at some point in my life. You can say you're not against me, but then make it 20 times harder for someone from South America to get their citizenship. And that is going against me, because I've lived in the United States for 8 years, and there's no reason that it should be as hard as it is for me to return to a country that I lived in for so long and not be returned to a country where I've not set foot in 6 years. It is 100% personal what Donald Trump did, and my hatred for him is 100% personal. I'm not going to lie, it's 100% personal, and I personally hate him as a human being. I do not know how his wife and his daughter can stand by his side and say they're proud of him. I do not know how anyone can support him, but I know they do, because not everyone thinks the way I do. And this is honestly so incredibly baffling that people have so much hatred inside of them. That said, I'm not going to tell you to move forward because love Trump's hate or whatever other platitude I've heard 1,000 times. Those are pointless. A phrase, a word, words are the most important thing. Words can change the world. I will not ever change my mind about that. That being said, a phrase that's been repeated ad nauseum is not going to change the world. You need actions behind the words. You need the words to do something. You cannot just say, oh, love is better than hate. Yes, of course it is. No one is denying that fact. But saying that doesn't do anything. We need to do things. We need to move forward. And like I've said a million times on social media this past few days, we need to rub some dirt in this wound, get up, and keep going. There is no time to take a breath. There is no, oh, we can just hope that he's a good president. That's not a choice. It isn't. I've seen it happen. I've seen people say those things and then get into a 20-year dictatorship. I've seen families broken apart by this type of politics. I've seen it. I've lived it before. I've lived the horrors that this kind of thing can do. Yes, in Venezuela it's a left-wing party, but it doesn't change the fact of what totalitarianism can do. Doesn't change what dictatorships can do, doesn't change what a strong man on power can do. Donald Trump is a weak man. Donald Trump is a man who has failed at most things he's run in life, and I have very little doubt that he will fail at being a president. And it hurts, and it scares me, because I would never, ever in a million years, I do not hope he's a bad president. I hope that he gets into office and amazing things happen. But I have no evidence that that's what's going to be happening. I have evidence of him failing again and again at whatever he's set himself forward to do. And I cannot by any means stand and say, oh, I'm just going to hope for the best. No, I'm going to make the best happen. And I'm in Spain, and again, I feel so powerless. And it's the same story that I have with Venezuela, where I want to fight, I want to join the fight, but I can't. So this is my way of joining the fight, and I encourage you There are protests happening all over the country. There's organizations collecting money. There's people offering help. There's people getting together and trying to make groups. Join them. Find them online. Try and fight. Because that's the only way we can ensure that the next 4 years are not going to be the end of the United States and possibly the world. Remember that it takes 14 minutes for a president to push the nuclear button when they've made the decision to do so. And Donald Trump said again and again that he had no issue using nuclear weapons. And I hope you remember what the 2 nuclear bombs we dropped in Hiroshima and Nagasaki did. And how the effects are still felt today. And how the ones we have today, the nuclear bombs we have today, are 40 times more deadly. It only takes 7 nuclear bombs to destroy the world, and this man is 14 minutes away, starting January 20th, from those bombs. Think about that. He's a person that refused to go on debates because Megyn Kelly said something bad to him on Twitter. A woman who's a Fox News reporter, she's a conservative, she's a Republican, but she's a woman who stood up to him. A man who ran out on his first date with his first wife, Ivana Trump, because she was a better skier than him. That's the man that in January 20th, he's 14 minutes away from nuclear weapons. He is the man that has said every terrible thing and has enabled every terrible thing that has happened at his rallies and that has happened since Tuesday, because 8 trans kids already killed themselves. Number of women have come forward saying they've been harassed and assaulted. Number of people of color, women and men of color, have come forward and said, I have been harassed and I have been told it is my time to go because Donald Trump is now the president of the United States. We're already living in his world and he hasn't even taken office. In these few months up until he takes office, go out, show him you're against him. If you, for any reason, maybe you're disabled, maybe you're a Muslim and you're afraid of the backlash you're going to get, maybe you're black and you're afraid you're going to get shot by the police by going to a protest. You don't have to go and protest. Go, call your congressmen, call your congresswomen, call your representatives and tell them, I do not want Donald Trump as my president. I do not want Planned Parenthood to be defunded. I do not want gay marriage to be banned. I do not want abortions to be banned. I want my civil rights. I am a person. I deserve the same rights as everyone else. Remind them that Donald Trump has offered to do unconstitutional things and tell them, this is unconstitutional. I have rights. I am a human being. I am a person and I deserve my rights. I cannot live apolitically. I know I've said this already in this video. I cannot live apolitically. I've said this and I'll say it again. And I don't care if I annoy you with how much I talk about politics. I cannot live without talking about them because they run the world. They do. And they determine our future and the future of the people after us. And I'm planning to be a mother someday in my life, and I hope that my children have a better world than mine. But with Donald Trump setting us back 50 years, it is hard to think that my children will have a better world than mine, if they even will have one, considering of the damages that climate change can do in 4 years. I do not hope to change anyone's mind straight away. I just want you to think about what's happening. And I want you, if you voted for Trump, if you consider voting for Trump, or if you didn't vote for Hillary Clinton for whatever reason, I hope you realize every tear, every drop of blood, every person that is harassed because of their skin color, because of their religion, because of their sexuality, or because of their gender, that is on you. Because you let this happen. You chose not to push for the person that was less terrible. Because I'm not going to say Hillary Clinton was a saint by any means. I love Bernie Sanders, and I was the first person to criticize Hillary Clinton. I have no fear of criticizing her, and I think it was a good thing we did, because it changed her position on many things. But if you still chose to not vote for her after everything Donald Trump did, everything that's happened since Tuesday, and everything that will happen up until 2020, regarding the harassment and the punishment of young people and people of color and LGBT youth and every Muslim person and Jewish person in this country, it is on you. And I hope you realize it. And if you're angry at my words right now, because you think I'm talking directly to you. If the shoe fits, wear it. We let this happen, and it is on us to fix it.